Pleasant greetings to you. Let us talk about the Good Samaritan in each of us, the pilgrim on the Jericho road of life. First, let us go to know the setting of the story, Jericho Road, and what we mean by our Jericho Road of life.
The Jericho Road is the 17-mile road that connects Jerusalem to Jericho. That road drops 3,600 feet in those 17 miles. It is a steep, winding, descending, remote road that for centuries has been a place of robberies. In the time of Jesus, the road from Jerusalem to Jericho was notorious for its danger and difficulty, and was known as the Way of Blood because of the blood which is often shed there by robbers. Jericho was the first Israelite conquest in Canaan and is thus very important. This area is popularly known in political circles as the West Bank. Joshua and the walls of Jericho is one of the most violent stories of the Bible. An army of nomads emerges from the desert and destroys a heavily fortified city, not by force, but by faith. The story of how Joshua destroyed Jericho using only trumpets is one of the Bible's most memorable and most dramatic. As Jericho was God's first gift to the Jews in the land of Israel, we are to devote to Him our first fruits, the possessions and talents He has given each of us. Jericho stood as a symbol of spiritual victory, hence, when Jesus sent His apostles and disciples on a missionary journey, He sent them like lambs among wolves. He sent them to the world. He sent them to their Jericho road to spiritual victory, through the way of blood. The Jericho road of life stands for the world where people are robbed. Robbed of their dignity, of their love, of their food and clothing, robbed of their value as human beings. It is any place where there is suffering and oppression. It is through this road that we are called to be pilgrims of peace and justice.
The Jericho Road of our life represents a part of our existence where we are robbed, denied of our dignity, denied the compassion and understanding that we deserve, where we are in dire need probably of food and clothes, denied of our worth as a person. It is where there are sufferings and persecutions. It is through this street that we are called to be pilgrims of peace and harmony. Of course, now we may ask, is this even possible? Is it even possible to be Christian givers and lovers despite the difficulties we face on our Jericho roads? The answer, yes. And in order to show this graceful possibility, let me share two inspiring stories with you that are very close to my heart. The first story is about Saint Teresa of Calcutta.
Shane Claiborne, who spent a summer in the slums of Calcutta with Mother Teresa, wrote the following about one of his experiences. People often ask me what Mother Teresa was like. Did she glow in the dark or have a halo? She was short, wrinkled, and precious, maybe even a little ornery, like a beautiful, wise old granny. But there is one thing I will never forget, her feet were deformed. Each morning during Mass, I would stare at those feet. I wondered if Mother Teresa had leprosy. But I wasn't going to ask, of course. One day a sister asked us, "Have you noticed Mother's feet?" We nodded, curious. She said, "Her feet are deformed because we get just enough donated shoes for everyone, and Mother does not want anyone to get stuck with a worse pair, so she digs through and finds those. Years of wearing bad shoes have deformed her feet." That is the kind of love that places our neighbor's needs above our own. That is the kind of love we wear on our head, heart, hands and feet as we journey through our respective Jericho roads.
Years ago, a cable channel featured this foot binding for beauty, which was a custom in China from the 10th century to the end of the 20th century. Just look at these pictures. Moses, in the book of Deuteronomy, reminds Israel of the words of Yahweh. You are to walk in His ways and observe His statutes, commandments, and decrees, and to hearken to His voice. Thus, Saint Teresa of Calcutta exhibits for us what foot binding for God and for love is all about. For the next story, I would like to share my story.
Years ago, while yet the Quezon Avenue MRT station was under construction, I was caught in a traffic jam en route to Quezon Circle, just before crossing EDSA. To make matters worse, just about in front of High Top Supermarket, was another road digging going on. As I was slowly nearing that area, just about 4 vehicles away, there was this wooden cart pushed by 2 little boys. Wanting to avoid a sidewalk digging, the boys had their cart rolling along the main road. By the time I spotted them, they were helplessly trying their luck to get their cart back up to the sidewalk. Unfortunately, the cart was loaded way heavier than the 2 of them can push down and lift. Their carriton kept rolling back to the street and was met by wary, if not irritated, honking drivers. While I was watching them some 4 cars away, I was sighing to myself, "Oh, these poor kids." But underneath, I was ignoring a nagging question, should I help them or not? Then, when I was about 3 cars away from them, I confronted the question. And these were my answers to the question as to why I should just ignore them. First, the 3 cars ahead of me ignored them. Well, they paid attention by honking on them. I'd be simple and kind. Just pass them by without honking. Second, kids pushing their cart is a common Manila sight. It's impractical and unreasonable to pay attention to everyone I see on the road while in transit. Get real. Third, I can't leave my car in the middle of the traffic. That's causing traffic obstruction. My 4th reason to just ignore them is this. These are street-smart kids. They can manage. And the last reason I had was this. That's a hot midday sun. You'll sweat a lot out there. That's awfully uncomfortable. When I was at a full stop just to the left of the kids in their cart, I turned off my car engine, left the car and assisted them. Happily, the kids smiled and said, "Thank you po sir." When I returned to my comfortable car, traffic did not move a bit. And I was happy. In my head, I was reviewing the reason why I did what I did, despite my reasonable excuses. I realized there was one last question that brought me out to their side. The question was, what if one of these kids was a child I give First Communion to, in one of my children's masses? Will I ignore him? On that long drive back to my parish, I thought about the whole experience. And these were my realizations. 1. It seemed that the bottom line of anyone's many excuses, in not being a good Samaritan to another person, is anonymity. The Cariton connection. That way. 2. But, come to think of it, this person, no matter who he or she is, probably prays the Lord's Prayer too. This person calls God, our Father. If so, then, he or she is my brother or sister in God. And even if that person were an unbeliever, the fact that he or she is alive and existent makes him or her a beautiful creation of God. Thus, we are connected. If not through the faith we share, at least through the journey we take. That's what I mean by the Cariton connection. So, The next time you ever pass through this Jericho road of your life, please remember the Cariton connection.
Yes, the next time you ever pass through your life's Jericho road, please remember Saint Teresa's feet and our Cariton connection. And remember, not everyone you meet along the way of life is a cheater and a thief. Many are just victims. And many more are angels indeed. May God bless you always.